Sahanavavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishvavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. We are going one by one to see why is it that any of these koshas means the places which become the locus of errors, various loci of error, why they cannot be the unchanging, immutable I, the Atma, why they cannot be the I. Body cannot be the I, we decided that, correct? Because it is changing. Usually the reasons are the same. It is changing, it is inert, it is dependent. Whereas Atma is the opposite of all that. It is independent, it is unchanging, it is self-revealing. And then same thing with the mind. The mind also is a karya, it's an effect. So if it's an effect, that means what? It has a boss, the cause. So that we are seeing this little by little, the 5 areas where it is very clear, one is clear enough to commit the mistake. One is clear enough to commit the mistake, I am as good as the mind. And even subtler than the mind, we are seeing now, is called the sense of doership. Also called what? Vijnanamaya. Doership. And the doer only becomes a doer when the person is a knower. Without knowing, you cannot do anything. Any kind of doing requires know-how, right? So the know-how is really the do-how. So the doer is the knower. So this knower is the one who is operating all the 5 means of knowledge. We have been talking also about the various means of knowledge. So the knower operates the 5 means of knowledge. And then the knower, in other words, is the knower of what? The knower of discrete objects. Can also become the knower of the subject, but right now isn't, because mired in that, what is that? Avidya, ignorance. So the knower of pot, the knower of thought, knower of mat, cat, hat, this is our knower. And what does the knower do? The knower struts around. Yeah. Like the crow that crashed the peacock convention. This is where we stopped. And what does the knower do? The knower borrows the light from the Atma, that self-revealing knowing. How does the knower know? Are there 2 kinds of knowledges? The knowledge of the general I am, and then the discrete knowledge, I am an idiot. Are there 2? It's still the same knowing, correct? The discrete cognition, this is a part, I am no good, whatever it is. The discrete conclusions and the cognitions are also based, erroneous or otherwise, are based on that one single source of knowing. Chit alone is the knower, is the source of knowledge. Chit means that consciousness. And then that consciousness, as it were, lends its presence to discrete acts of knowing, which morphs into the Vijnanamaya, as it were. So it's the same Chit. And we saw this in the Panchadashi very clearly. We have the sunlit wall, over which are playing some dancing orbs of various mirror lights. So the light for the mirror, where is it coming from? Sun. How many suns are there? 1. Only 1 sun. So the sun is lighting up the wall, and the sun is lighting up the mirror as well, correct? So you have the sunlit wall and the mirror lit sunlit wall. or the sunlit, mirror-lit wall. It's the same light. So too here, the chit, that consciousness which obtains in the body-mind sense complex as I am. I know I am. To which everything, it's the illuminator of everything, to which everything becomes evident, including ignorance. So when I say I don't know, that means what? I know. I know that I don't know. So that is what we mean by there is no ignorance at all for the Atma. When you know you don't know, so that the don't know what we have to ask, then you can say I don't know biology, I don't know physics, or I don't know Atma, but still I know that there is Atma. I know I am. What I am, I don't know. Therefore, I am free enough to make the mistakes. So this chit alone illuminates all the knowing and the not knowing. And then when we talk about the knowing of discrete objects other than the subject, then what happens? It morphs into a small spotlight, like a flashlight. First you have the sunlight and then you have the mirror, which is having the sun reflected on it. Then you shine that particular light to see what is there. So then you can say, this is pot. That is Vijnanamaya. This is pot. I know pot. This is an ontological level. I know that this is a pot. I know pot. Not just I know pot. I know I have the knowledge of pot. That is again what? Chit, not Chidabhasa. Chidabhasa means this Vijnanamaya. So it is that, it's that light alone we are talking about, which as it were lends its presence, its sentiency to discrete cognitions. And this Vijnanamaya, which is that aspect of the mind which has born of sattva. Sattva means very pure, part of the five elements, becomes an able mirror to reflect this endless light. So it becomes a reflecting medium, as it were. So it catches the reflection of the chit, and like the crow, who thought itself to be a peacock, the Vijnanamaya says, I am in control, I am in charge, I am great, I know everything. So what do you know? I know Vedanta doesn't work. This is Vijnanamaya's conclusion, correct? Yeah. How do you know Vedanta doesn't work? I attended half a class. When? Many years ago. So, we see that here there is a certain kind of a conclusion based on one's own confusion. And the main confusion is between these two sources of light, thinking that there are two sources of light. Actually, one is the source, one is dependent on that. But if I don't identify with the source, I identify with that which is changing and dependent. So the knower quickly becomes displaced by I don't know this. The knower, one Vijnanamaya has to meet another Vijnanamaya. Correct? And the other Vijnanamaya says what? I know many more things than you. You have degree, I also have pedigree. So I have both degree and pedigree. You just have a degree. And so the first Vijnanamaya feels all sad. Oh, I don't know. And so that's all it needs to displace. So if I involve myself in identifying with that which is ever changing, then what happens? The changeless goes out of the window. Yeah. So that is why the Vijnanamaya is a very difficult kosha to cross. It is all the ER ending words. The knower. When the knower becomes quickly what? Not knower. Yeah. And then it becomes the disbeliever. Becomes the quintessential doubter. And then the doubter attends a few classes and says, okay, I think I have a grasp on Vedanta. And then what? Starts to doubt again. This is what happens. The one who is always like a pendulum is Vijnanamaya, ever identified with the changing knower, so that the changeless is not understood. So the Vijnanamaya cannot be the Atma because of many, many reasons. And so we'll see what this Vijnanamaya is and why it cannot be the Atma. We have done 54 and 55, correct?
Yes.
Verses?
53 we did, 54. I don't.
54, 55 did we finish? No? Yes? Maybe? Nobody was there last time?
I don't think so.
Was there?
You were there? Yeah. So we haven't done that then. Okay, we'll read that and do that. Whoever can follow, can follow. Anadikaloyamaham swabhavaha. Anadikaloyamaham swabhavaha. Jivas samasta vyavaharavodha. Jivas samasta vyavaharavodha. Karoti karmanya purvavasanaha. Karoti karmanya purvavasanaha. Punyanya punyani cha tatphalani. Punyanya punyani cha tatphalani. Bhunkte vichitra swapyonishu vrajan. Bhunkte vichitra swapyonishu vrajan. Ayati niryatyadha urdhvameshaha. Ayati niryatyadha urdhvameshaha. Asvaiva vijnanamayasya jagrat. Asyaiva vijnanamayasya jagrat. Swapnadyavastha sukha dukkha bhogaha. Swapnadyavastha sukha dukkha bhogaha. A little more, 8 more lines on how the Vijnanamaya struts around and what does it do. What does the Vijnanamaya? Vijnanamaya means what the person identified as the Vijnanamaya. What does their daily life look like? So, and first of all, it is Ayam Aham Swabhavaha. The I notion is the Vijnanamaya. And where was this I notion? The I notion that is attached to everything that is finite, naturally. You know. And then when did it start? Anadikalaha. And here one objection can be raised, because if Vijnanamaya is a karya, is an effect, then how do you say it has got an endless beginning? If it is an effect, it should have a beginning, correct? But to that we answer that the basis for this Vijnanamaya is ignorance. Any kosha identification is ignorance. So the ignorance is timeless, beginningless. Okay? So anadikalaha aham swabhavaha ayam. And then what does the Vijnanamaya is a tired old fellow. Why tired? Jivaha. This is what is called jiva. And jiva is a samasta vyavahara vodha. Vodha means the one who carries the burden, carrier. From to carry, vodha. The one who carries the burden of what? Samasta samsara, all the transactions. The carries the burden of doership. And then when you carry the burden of doership, what happens? You are very, very tired. That's what happens, you know. It's like that lady on the train. You know, this was a train, and she got on with great difficulty. The big basket, bigger than her, big basket of vegetables. She was a sales lady. She got on this train, and it was crowded, and then Everybody said, we are going to make room for you. Just come on in, we'll help you. And then, do you want help to put this basket down so that you can just enjoy the train ride? And she said, no, no, no. I don't want to put the basket down. Why? Do you need help? We'll help you. She said, I don't want to burden the train. Yeah, I don't want to burden the train by putting the basket down. Where? On the floor. I don't want to burden the train. Therefore, what I want to do, what I have to do, I have to carry this basket. Even if the train ride is 1 hour long, I will stand here carrying the basket on the head. This is Vijnanamaya. So, the doer is not, the doer is I. Everything is I, but I am not the doer. This is the understanding. So, the I, which is the one who is the actor. The actor is the one who is performing all the roles. This is what is important to understand. The one who is performing the roles is the I. The I is performing the role, all the roles. So the roles are not separate from the I, correct? Because I am the one who is performing all the roles. The roles are not separate from the I, but the I transcends all the roles. I cannot roll into the roles. Yeah. Roles are all just, it's like everyday life. One, is father, mother. First one is son or daughter. Then one is brother or sister, father, mother, grandfather, grandmother, employee, employer, spouse, etc. So many roles are there. And the single I, the same I performs all the roles without any problem, correct? The same I. And sometimes there are different roles. One could be with the mother and with the daughter at the same time. So there is no conflict at all. The I doesn't start to think, how can I be both mother and daughter at the same time? It's not a problem at all. One relates to the parent in a certain way, and then one relates to the offspring in a different way at the same time. There is no, the I being timeless and endless and the source of everything seamlessly performs all the roles. And where is the problem, however? The problem is with thinking that the problems of the roles belong to the I. Yeah. The limitations of the roles and the problems of the roles, the difficulties, the joys, the sorrows belong to the role, not to I. But if I roll the problems onto I, it's like the carrier of the basket inside a moving train. Yeah. This is what it is. I refuse to keep the burden down. So samasta vyavahara bodha, the one who feels like the whole world's stresses and strains and transactions and fears and sorrows, I only have to carry. Okay, you can drop it. No, who else will carry? Why does anybody have to carry? Okay, continue to carry. How I can carry? You are just so, you are so aloof to my burdens. You are so unsympathetic. See how you are telling me you keep on carrying. No, I told you to put it down. How I can put it down? Will you carry? No, I don't have to carry it. You don't have to carry it. No, but I think I can't put it down. Okay, carry it. No, how I can carry it? Okay, put it down. How to put it down? This is called samsari. This is called samsari. In South India we have a expression. Somebody drank a spoonful, a big spoon of hot ghee, and the person indicated because the mouth was full of ghee. You know what ghee is? Yeah, the clarified butter, expensive stuff. So you put a whole spoon of hot ghee in the mouth, and then the person could not speak and indicated that the mouth is burning, the gums are burning, the tongue is on fire. And the relatives and the friends said, please spit it out. And the person said, too expensive. Can't spit it out. Okay, swallow it. Too hot. Cannot swallow. This is the situation of this line particularly, of the Vijnanamaya, who thinks I am everything and I have to do all these things, because if I don't do, nobody will do. That's not a very good, rationale. Listen to yourself before you give that reason. If I don't do, nobody will do. Let them not do. You also don't do. No, how we can all have free time? Why not? Why can't we all, have free time? Free time or whatever it is. Why can't we all, free time means what? Freedom from samsara. That's really what the person is trying to say. No, somebody has to be a samsari. This is the jiva's, mad reasoning. Mad jiva's mad reasoning. Somebody has to suffer samsara. And I came with a, what is that? My middle name is Martyr. Samsara Martyr. Yeah. Meaning somebody has to do. Everybody cannot. People will actually say this. Everybody cannot attend classes. Why can't they attend? No, who will take care of the work? Take care of the work and then attend. That's why we have so many different times we have classes. Online, offline, on the net, off the net, inner net, outer net, we have everywhere. The whole place is dotted with the classes, archived, unarchived, everything is there. So attend whenever you can. Oh, but I just cannot. Okay, don't attend. Oh, but see, everyone else is enjoying the classes, only I cannot enjoy. Okay, please attend. No, I think next life. I'll make the plan. I'll pray that next life I have a life as some of the people who are enjoying the classes. So, you too can enjoy. No, you don't know my life. I can't enjoy. What do you say? Namaha. Yeah. Namaha means, so be it. What else can you do? Namaha means I lay you in the lap of Bhagavan. That's what it means. Meaning I cannot do anything here. I'll put you in a lap that is, bigger and more accommodative, more compassionate, because it's the source of everything. So I'll give you over to there. That is what, the thing is. I'll give you over to the source and offer up this particular non-logic as a prayer. May one be saved from this non-logic. This non-logic means it's logic abhasa. Yukti abhasa is there. Means it pretends to be logical, but without being logical. It's dangerous actually. Yeah. So it will go through the whole rationale of giving all the reasons. Like here we are discussing why not attend the classes or how to attend the classes, but you can take anything. You can take anything and ask the person, why don't you do this? Whether it's, doing yoga or doing anything that is good for on their own behalf, going for a walk or having some healthy habits, the same reasoning will be given. Yeah. Can't do it, but can't not do it also. So one is stuck in the middle in this Vijnanamaya non-logic. So Jivaha, this is the Jiva. Samasta Vyavahara Vodha. So keeping the hot ghee in the mouth goes about carrying out the transactions. Too expensive to spill, too hot to swallow. This in-between thing. And then Karoti Karmani. And then Karoti Karmani means does all the work. See, I told you there was so much work. Just because you people can attend classes, that doesn't mean there isn't work to do. No, Karoti Karmani means what? What kind of work? Purva Vasanaha. So the action performs actions based on previous life's ragadveshas. For action, there has to be desire. There is no action without desire. All actions have desire. As the fuel, you know. In order to make the car move, you need some kind of fuel, right? You need gas, petrol, whatever it is, diesel. You need that electric power, solar power, something one needs. And sometimes they put in India, they have made one car that goes on, what is that? This vegetable oil. Yeah. You put vegetable oil and then it goes corn oil, vegetable oil, something you need. So what powers the action? What is the fuel for action? Any action. It could be laukika action. Laukika means daily, everyday actions. Or sacred actions, you know. Vaidika actions, sacred actions. The backing for it and the fuel for it is desire. So desire is wrong? No, I didn't say that. The desire is of two kinds. One is the desire which is called non-binding in nature. Meaning, fulfilled, it doesn't have a pair of teeth, a fang, you know. It doesn't bite and hold on. Some dogs, when they bite, they don't let go. They continue to hold on. They actually bite with the intention of making a citizen's arrest. They don't let go at all. The jaws clamped down, finished. Yeah. So that kind of a desire is called a binding desire. A binding desire is that which binds me to it and does not let go and exerts either an overt or a covert pressure to gain its fulfillment. And this is again a problem because that overt pressure makes me go against my own set of values called dharma. I violate my own values for the sake of this desire. And the desire doesn't have to be for a gold coin or anything material. It could just be to gain a sense of acceptance. That's what it could be. A desire to belong, desire to be wanted. That also is it. And if that desire is a binding desire, then it becomes a block to the teaching. Because, you know, one needs a teacher, but then one also needs acceptance. So, what do you choose? You know, one wants the teaching, but then more than the teaching, sometimes one wants to be accepted. So that it becomes a competing kind of a thing. So the inner being has almost split into two. The inner child wants a parent, and the outer child, no, the adult wants what? A teacher. So how do you manage? So if the inner child is reigning free, then it will want to convert the teacher into a parent figure. You see? And then the teaching stops because what happens is the inner child is just wanting acceptance and love and accommodation and compassion and being, you know, enveloped and hugged. So that the teaching stops. And then the adult wants the teacher. And as long as the adult is reigning, the teaching will take place. And even heal the need for this acceptance or this need for this belonging or this core abandonment issue. Every jiva becomes a jiva because there is a core issue of abandonment. Core abandonment issue. Meaning what? At the very core, if all the painful feelings have to have one single name and have to be reduced to their lowest common denominator, the feeling is one of not being wanted. That is generally the case. Generally the case. So no matter how loving the parents, no matter, you know, what the background, that is a core issue. And this core issue is the one that feels slighted. Yeah. Samasta samsara vyavahara vodha. The carrier of all the transactions, the carrier of the one who is, you know, the one who is carrying all the slights, all the burdens, all the stresses, And the same one is also performing actions. So all the actions are performed for the sake of what? Healing this core wound. What is that core wound? The core wound of abandonment. So all the actions are for the sake of gaining approval. Whether it's from the teacher or from the neighbor or from the spouse or from the family member or something, the person has to be appreciated all the time. This is what happens. And so therefore what? So therefore this particular kosha, this misidentification with that core wound of abandonment, this has to be healed. One has to do it for oneself. The adult has to hug this inner child. Adult has to become the mother and the father. And at first, what is the inner child going to do? Have a fit. Because it's not going to believe in it. In fact, it's going to have several fits. In fact, it's going to threaten, in front of everybody to just collapse. But one has to persist and gain the trust of this inner child, little by little. And how to gain the trust? Because the inner child is coming out. Somebody said something and the inner child is coming out and feeling slighted. And you have to calm the inner child now and say, right now, let me handle this. Let the adult be in charge. In 1 hour, I'll give you time. Yeah. And you cannot fob the inner child off. You have to actually, after 1 hour, you have to spend the time. And then after a while, it starts to trust. And then it comes out less and less. One has a way, one has a say over this inner child. So this split is what is this Vijnanamaya is very beautifully described, because all actions are performed because of this pressure. And the core pressure is this abandonment, to heal this abandonment, to gain some sense of belonging. That is the longing. The longing is to belong and not to be left longing. So to gain the sense of belonging, people will join expensive clubs. People will join all kinds of things to belong, support groups, some feeling that I want to be part of something. Now again, that desire can be freed from this. This is what I meant by a binding desire. So when I unhook this core issue of abandonment from the desire to belong, it can actually be a very nice desire. Let me be part of the community and do something that is good for everybody. So I also enjoy everybody, and at the same time I help other people also to come up. Now that is a non-binding desire because it doesn't have that pressure. Because fulfilled it is wonderful, unfulfilled it's even better. That is a non-binding desire. So that's what I mean by there are two kinds of desires. So the binding and the non-binding. So until I have this understanding, the Vijnanamaya, until it has this, the person who is identified with the Vijnanamaya, until they have this understanding, their modus operandi is from where? The binding desires. That is called Purva Vasanaha. Vasanaha, past impressions, past hurts, past pains, past sorrows, past impulses. And so therefore, this is what drives the person to action. Desire is the one which causes the person to be an actor, to identify with the action and with the acts. And then what? After action, what happens? Action leads to results. And the results are of how many kinds? 2 kinds. Today is the day of 2s. 2 kinds of desires. And 2 kinds of actions, binding desires lead to binding actions, actions that are in keeping with whatever the pressures, and the other actions are non-binding, which are more in keeping with what is correct, what is right, what is needed, and then they yield 2 kinds of results. What are the 2 kinds of results? One is punya. Punya means what? No English translation. Punya. Punya is punya. You can say punya, that's all. But it is punya. Punya means the meritorious results, good, comfortable situations in the here and the hereafter as a result of actions that are done in keeping with the cosmic law of what is correct, what is appropriate, that is called punya. And the opposite, actions that go violate the cosmic law of dharma, what is correct, what is right, and then what happens as a result?
Papa.
Papa. Papa means what? Papa. Yeah, Papa. That's all you can say. Papa with an American accent. And then what is this Papa? Uncomfortable. We will not translate it as sin. We don't have a word for sin, really. It's uncomfortable situation as a result of my own actions in the here or the hereafter. This is what is called Papa. So this punya and papa, the person is earning. Gets a regular 2 paychecks. Get directly deposit. They have, without signing up for direct deposit, both the paychecks, get deposited into 2 accounts. Papa account, punya account. Yeah, wireless transfer. Because we have something called wire transfer. This is wirelessly transferred. Quietly transferred. And who is the banker? Chitragupta. Yeah. The devata in who is very good in mathematics. Who knows the arithmetic. Yes. And it's not negotiable. You cannot say, I know I did the wrong thing. I know I robbed a bank. But then I was robbing hood. Okay, yeah. I was robbing hood. I gave it to the poor. So can't it be still, can't it go a little bit in the punya box? No. Because something was violated. Dharma is Bhagavan, is Ishvara, is a manifestation of Ishvara. So you cannot violate Dharma in order to, violate Ishvara in order to please Ishvara. That doesn't make sense. It's like that fellow who was selling, this really happened in India. He was putting some kind of a horrible hallucinogenic drug in the ice cream and selling it to middle school children right outside. Yeah. And then in the recess, they would all go and they would buy this, and he would, the first ones, when they went to buy the first time, he would give it free. And of course, the children started to have all kinds of things, and then he would ask them, where do you live? Where do you keep the extra key in the house? Are all the doors locked? He would get all the information and sell it to somebody who would then do the, do the seva of giving those families instant vairagya by going through their possessions at night. And so then he was apprehended. This was somewhere in North India. He was within 1 week it was all over. He was apprehended. And then during the trial, he gave a defense. He said, I was collecting money from the children, but I was going to give it all to this orphanage. After drugging the children, I'm helping the orphans. What kind of a twisted logic is this? So, therefore what? This is really disturbing, correct? So, the punya and papa, therefore, are non-negotiable. What goes in which side of the suitcase, or the bank account, this is the debit and credit are non-negotiable. It's all computerized by Chitraguptaized. So, you cannot, touch it. So, punyani, karoti karmani, and then after doing the action, based on past pressures, what does the person get? Punyani, apunyani cha tatphalani. Tatphalani means the actions bear results, and then the results I have to bear. First the actions bear results, then I have to bear the results of the actions. And that's the next verse. Bhunkte. Bhunkte means what? Eats the result of action. Eats means experiences the results of action. This Vijnanamaya, this deluded little fellow, and how does he, the jiva, he or she, experience the results of actions? Vichitrasu yonisu vrajan. Vrajan means buys a ticket. No, vrajan doesn't mean buys a ticket. Vrajan means moves. How? by buying a ticket for extraterrestrial travel. Yeah. Vichitrasu, weird. Yonisu, yoni means the birth canal. Yoni is birth canal. So goes, visiting various birth canals, coming out of various strange birth canals. Eggs, andaja. Andaja means born of egg. Udbhija, born of the ground, meaning like a tree, etc. Shvetaja, born of moisture. What happens when the rooms are all closed and there is hot humidity? It becomes mold. Mold is alive. Mold is a jiva. Yes. Mold is many jivas or one jiva. I don't know. You decide. So the mold is an individual, is alive. It breathes. And its sole purpose is to exhaust other people's karmas by making them allergic to mold. That's all it is. Scorpion, octopus, so many birth canals, so little time, life after life after life after life, various weird life forms one takes. Why? Because the core wound of abandonment is not healed. That is what the jiva is. Yeah, the core wound of abandonment, that I am nothing and nobody wants me and nobody loves me. This is really what it is. If you really unpack the word jiva, this is what comes out. And this has to be healed. This is the sole purpose of birth in a human body, because as a dog or a cat, one cannot, or any other life form, one cannot understand this. Even if one has a sense, I am not wanted. Even if the octopus feels, I keep meddling into other people's affairs, I have so many limbs, but still nobody wants me. Even if the octopus might feel that way, it doesn't have the wherewithal to heal that. Only the human birth, with its ability for that free will to override this particular hurt, and to falsify this particular hurt by taking care of this, is possible only in the human life. And we saw this, in the beginning. Jantunam narajanma durlabham. Out of all the life forms, the human life is very difficult to attain. Very difficult to attain. And then there are three things that, even if one has a human life, there are three things are very difficult to attain. Manushyatvam, human life. Mumukshutvam, the desire to heal this hurt and this pain. And then the third one is the desire to be free of this pain. Third one is what? Mahapurusha samshrayaha. Samshrayaha means taking refuge in Mahapurusha, the teacher. Because the teacher falsifies this pain and gives one the tools to take care of this hurt for oneself. That is what the job of the teacher is. The tools are the Shastra, the teaching, and wielded by the teacher, the tools which were just dormant before come alive. That is what it is. The teacher wields the tools, and that wielding is the tool is the methodology here of the teaching. And so wielded in the hands of the teacher, the methodology comes alive, and the tool, helps me see the truth of this I as free of that pain and sorrow. The pain and the sorrow that I am not wanted is a superimposition because of that ignorance. Yeah. And that is what is eliminated. Because that I am not wanted is not real. It is, no matter how real it feels, one must not buy into it. And one must pray for a lot of grace to not buy into it. That I am not wanted, that I am no good, that I am, a burden on others, that I will never get this. All this is that I am not acceptable. All this is the result of taking that which is not real to be real. This is what happens. And so therefore, the methodology of the teaching falsifies it. It's not that it is unreal, it is experienced, so it has a certain reality, but it is not the ultimate reality, so it can be easily dismissed, because through the knowledge it is dismissed. Because if the knowledge is what, you are the whole. So if you are the whole, how can you be not wanted and by whom? Yeah, there is nothing other than you to not to abandon you, because there should be two things. One is the abandoner, the other is the abandoned, correct? Yeah. So if there is no abandoner is you, abandoned is you, there is nothing other than you. So you are the truth of that which is abandoned and that which is the abandoner. Why abandoner? Because sometimes the modus operandi is such that fearing a rejection, the person rejects. Yeah, I don't want you because I think you are not going to want me. This is again a funny logic. Yeah. So here, the truth of the abandoner and the non-abandoner is you. And that you is neither the abandoner nor the abandoned. Because for abandonment, there should be two things. The one who is rejecting and the one who feels rejected, correct? Both are you alone. And neither is you, because the truth of both of those resolve in this I, which is whole and limitless. And when that I is repeatedly shown to be whole and limitless, this will also heal. One has to actually act it out and heal it, but it heals. One has to work with it. So therefore what? The one is spared of migrating, traversing through so many birth canals, experiencing this form of life, that form of life, etc., where there is no desire for freedom, because it is those animal forms are programmed to be what they are, not to desire this knowledge. And then those animals again don't approach a teacher and say, please give me this knowledge. The dog may approach the teacher and say, where is my biscuit? Yeah. Cat may approach the teacher and say, when are you opening the can? Because all cats see human beings as a life-sized can opener. That's all. Yeah. Dogs at least are having some loyalty feelings are there. Cats not even that. Yeah. You exist to feed me. That's all it is. Yeah. And so therefore, and then Vichitrasu Yonisu means these are traversing through so many birth canals is not without peril, because so many times, even as one is born, the jiva dies, And sometimes, the parent helps, Sometimes what I have heard is that the snake lays 7 eggs, and then proceeds to have breakfast upon those eggs. Feast upon the eggs, half of the eggs, or sometimes she will leave 1 or 2 to hatch, and the other 5 she will gobble up. Yeah, makes an omelette. Yeah, and why is this, because it is all programmed by Bhagavan to do the population control of the snakes. Yeah, it is programmed to lay so many eggs. And then after going through laying all these eggs, poor things, she is hungry. And then she proceeds to polish off a few. So this is all, these are the perils of going through birth canals. And then again, so many life forms. And it's a waste, because each time I'm not born as a human being, I'm just a bhokta. Bhokta means what? An experiencer. I'm not a doer. I may do actions as a dog, but the dog is programmed to do certain things. Donkey is programmed to kick. The tiger is programmed to, tiger, lion, all these big cats, they are programmed to protect themselves. That is the main bear also, programmed to protect itself. Yes, sometimes we see all these, what is that, YouTube videos. Oh, how cute the elephant is, the lion is hugging and it's playing with a puppy. Those are all exceptions. Yeah. Maybe therefore that 1 minute they were being filmed, they were having a good time. So those are exceptional animals perhaps, But generally the rule is what? The animals are programmed to do whatever they do. If they are predators, they are trained to pounce, they are trained to protect themselves. This is what it is. And so only in the human life can one even dream of putting an end to this transmigration, this constant running around in search of this or that. And even in this life, forget, even you don't even have to think about other lives. Even in this life, how much running around, how much seeking, how much wanting, and how much does one do, pressured by this sense of self-inadequacy, which is propelled by the core wound of abandonment. Think about all the things that one does. And to get a relief from that is what is a relief from samsara. And this is what it is. Otherwise, one is keeping on doing this. Bhunkte vichitrasu yonisu vrajan. Then what? Ayati niryati adha urdhvam eshaha. Ayati comes. Niryati goes. Adha, below. Urdhvam, above. Eshaha, this jiva. So, above, below means what? In slightly better bodies, better than the human body, like what? Yama, Indra, Chandra, etc. does a lot of punya and gets a position, a celestial body. Or does a lot of papa and gets a adho yoni, means some kind of, it's called tiryak, things that grow sideways. Like if you look at a puppy, it will be like this, and then you look at it 3 months later, it will be like this. It grows more sideways, less like this. So such things are called tiryak, the sideways growing ones. This is Sanskrit. So the sideways growing ones, the creepers, the parasites, the literal parasites, they're the ones that live off, like barnacles and these little things that live off trees and everything. And so these are all the, things that we are having to traverse in these various life forms. And then ayati, niryati, there is a lot of this thing going and coming. And even in one life, many changes. Asya vijnanamayasya, for this vijnanamaya alone, Jagrit, Swapna, Sushupti, Esha, Dasha, these are the Esha Avastha. So these avasthas, these states, which is the states sleeping, dream and
waking.
Namaha, waking. Okay, that we can't forget. So waking, let's put that first. Waking, sleeping and dreaming. These are the three states. Right? Yeah. So the three states are what? Waking, dream and deep sleep. And these are the three states enjoyed by the Vijnanamaya, but actually not enjoyed, suffered by. Why suffered by? Because the one who is waking identifies with the waker. Oh, I am the waker. And then when asleep identifies with the sleeper and with the dreamer. That's why, oh, I'm having nightmares, because one has identified with the dreamer. This is what it is. And so for this person only, these three states of being, and for this person only, sukha dukkha bhogaha, the alternative experiences of sukha, which means sorrow, correct? No, happiness. And then dukkha, the opposite, sorrow. Here, happiness doesn't mean that all happiness is the Atma nature alone. But here we are talking of the happiness that is generated from objects. Yeah. Generated by, but mistakenly thought to be the result of contact with the object, and that will be with various objects, and that will be explained in the next verse. So for this person alone, this whole world of objects and this whole, experiences of sukha and dukkha, the alternating sukha and dukkha, and as a result, this Vijnanamaya feels a tired, wrinkled, grey-haired, sad, old soul, old soul, S-O-L-E, old and soul, alone. Traveler, without any help. Oh, poor me, why me, who me, what to do. This is the Vijnanamaya, the doer and the knower, a very deadly combination if it is not understood properly. And also, I should also point out that for this Vijnanamaya is the knowledge. Because this is the one who recognizes the ignorance, recognizes that wanting, recognizes the deep wound which is bigger than the Grand Canyon about that core issue of abandonment. And for this person is the healing of what? Of the teaching. But the person has to choose that. It doesn't come without choosing. The person has to commit to that. And the person has to do everything that it takes, starting with therapy onwards, whatever, therapy, yoga, any other thing that promotes self-love. Because if there is, Vedanta needs a little bit of self-love for it to work. If there is, what I am saying is that there is self-loath, which is the universal garden variety self-loath. But if it is a little more than that, one has to help oneself to have a little bit of self-love by this inner child work, therapy, yoga, doing other things, so that one can hear this knowledge and not have a sense of freaking out or not rejecting it because it feels too overwhelming and too much. So this is what one has to do. And so therefore for this Vijnanamaya is the ignorance, but actually for this Vijnanamaya is the knowledge. This is the one who also becomes the seeker of the knowledge, the very Vijnanamaya alone. The Vijnanamaya is taught. Vijnanamaya is the one who is taught that you are the whole. And the Vijnanamaya, if all other qualifications are there, then the Vijnanamaya sits and listens, and the Vijnanamaya is enlightened. No need to disband the Vijnanamaya. The one doesn't identify with the Vijnanamaya anymore. More we'll see tomorrow. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.